Morning folks, and welcome to another thrilling adventure with the International Bigshot. It's not easy being me, as some of you have probably heard me say before, but today I want to talk a little bit about fitness and some of the things that I do to stay in my fabulous ninja shape. Everybody knows that I walk a lot. In a couple of days, hopefully within this week, I'll be off on the bike. But I also do, I guess for the lack of a better term, you might call a push-up regimen that I do every morning. It takes me exactly 2 minutes, and it is absolutely the worst 2 minutes of my day. In 2017, I started doing push-ups every morning, and then sometime in August, I hurt my shoulder, and I had to stop doing them for quite a while. My plan was to start off, I think I started with 5 or maybe 6 push-ups in January of 2017, and then each week I added 1. I would do like 6 push-ups every day for a week. And the following week I would do 7. The week after that, 8. I know 8 push-ups, a big deal, right? Yeah, I know. But I hadn't done them for a while. And getting started that way was an easy way to do it and an easy way to track progress. So that's what I did. Then somewhere around August, where I was up to, I think it was 30 to 35 push-ups a day, I was just finishing up and I heard something squish in my shoulder, so I couldn't really do any more push-ups. The shoulder didn't hurt for the rest of the day, but then pretty soon I couldn't use that arm. So being like I am, I didn't bother having it checked. I just let it go. And about 2, maybe 2.5 years later, I got use of my arm back. The pain, whatever was wrong with it, fixed itself. Pain went away. So in 2020, I started another push-up regimen. I think I started off with 7 push-ups. I had gotten out of shape quite a bit by then. And now I'm up to 20 push-ups a day, and keeping my injury from 2017 in mind, I decided that I'm going to stick with 20. I'm not going any higher than that. 20 I think I can handle. And I do that in combination with planking. So it's 2 minutes of planking and 20 push-ups. And in that 2 minutes, I've got to get, the 20 push-ups done. And whatever's left, or what I do in the beginning before I actually start the push-ups, that's all part of the 2 minutes of planking. It's the worst 2 minutes, like I said, the worst 2 minutes of my day. I don't look forward to it, and every morning right before 8 o'clock is when I do it. But I'm getting benefits from it. When I first started the planking part, I could only plank for 40 seconds. And now I'm up to 2 minutes. So that's a big deal as far as planking goes. If you've never done it, you ought to give it a try. See if you can hold your plank position for 30 seconds for a while. And if you can, then try to raise it the week after that and the week after that. You can't continue raising it. There's really no point in raising it, infinitely. There's just no return. You don't get a training return from it. So 2 minutes for me, if I can get that done with my 20 push-ups every day, I'm happy. Something else I do for fitness, of course, is walking. I think I've talked about that before. But I didn't really explain the fitness benefits for walking. Lots of people think that running and walking can be used interchangeably for aerobic fitness, and they can't. Running is actually an activity where you're going to get a training effect from actually doing the activity. In walking, it is an aerobic activity, but so is sitting in your house watching TV. Your body is using oxygen to keep itself alive, which is what aerobic means. But walking does not produce an aerobic training effect. So if you're walking thinking that you're keeping or you're improving your heart function and stuff like that, you're wrong about that. That's not happening. But walking is good exercise for two reasons. One, it gets you moving. It is a weight-bearing exercise, which is good for bone health. And it's rhythmic exercise, which is good for relaxation. So although it's not an intense type thing, you're not really getting a training effect. You are getting a lot of good fitness benefits by walking. The other thing that I do, of course, is cycling. Now, cycling is an aerobic exercise the way I do it. Get your heart rate to a certain level, and you try to keep it there. You're able to get an aerobic effect from riding a bike like that. But it's also one where you can control the intensity a lot better than you can when you're walking. I don't like running, so I don't do it at all. I don't care what the benefits would be, I just don't do it. But with cycling, especially if you're going to be riding long distances or intense distances or uphill distances, which is what I like to do the most, then you're going to get a lot of benefit from cycling. Because especially on climbing, where you go up hills, you're building up muscle. You're using the aerobic system, of course, and probably other systems also, to get your body up to the top of the hill. Coming down is a benefit from cycling up the hill, but the real training effect, of course, happens on the way up. So you're going to build up muscle, especially in your butt and your legs, the biggest muscles in your body. And if you have a weight problem, or if you think you have a weight problem and you're trying to drop some weight, building up muscle is the primary way to lose weight, because your body needs more fuel to keep muscle alive and healthy than it does fat. So if you can build up a little bit of muscle mass, you're going to lose weight just by staying alive. Maybe we'll have more of that in another video. Finally, the last thing I do is I don't eat breakfast. I try to get all my exercising done, or at least the major portion of my exercising done in the morning. And then at lunchtime, usually around 12, that's when I'll have my first meal of the day. Some people liken that to some kind of intermittent fasting, but I'm not really sure it qualifies as that. It's just something I do because the exercise in the morning depletes the glycogen in the muscles, and the body has to burn some fat or convert fat into sugar and then put it back, the glycogen in the muscles where it came from. So by doing that, you're encouraging your body to burn a little bit more fat early in the day, and then burn a little more glycogen early in the day, and then the body tries to keep the same amount of glycogen in your muscles all the time, which I think is about 400 grams of carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is sugar, but it's 1,600 calories worth of energy that are normally stored in your muscles. And if you use 400 of those in the morning, exercising, walking around, riding a bike, doing push-ups, then the body has to replace that somehow. And if you're not eating, then the only place it has to go to get it is in fat reserves. So it'll convert some fat into carbohydrate and store that as glycogen in your muscle. Then later on, I just have my lunch and carry on with my day. So I end up eating twice a day. Now I know some people probably can't do this. If you have a family, it's hard to do this if you're living with, 2, 3, 5 other people. But I live by myself, so it's easy to do that. I don't have any distractions. Nobody's buying food, pies, cakes, or anything like that. So it's easy to stick to a 2-day or a 2 meal per day schedule. I noticed last August, this is May 2021, I noticed last August that I was gaining weight. I don't have a scale, so I don't know what my weight was. So not having a scale, I used the notched belt or belt notch system for weight management. Last August, I was at 1 notch on my belt. And then now I'm at 4 notches. So I'm happy with the results of my walking, my cycling, and my eating schedule. If you want information about that, I can email you something a little bit more detailed. But that's what I do. I'm not saying it works for anybody else, but it works for me. I guess that's all I'm going to talk about today. I'm taking a walk on the O&W/D&H Railroad Trail. And in a minute, I'm going to cross over to the Lackawanna River Heritage Trail. And I think I'll have about 10 kilometers for the day. I just realized that when I said there was no aerobic effect from walking, I should have added the way I do it. I'm not in any hurry. I just saunter around. I don't really concern myself with an aerobic effect. There are some people, though, that do walk with purpose. Morning. And those people do get an aerobic effect. I think you probably recall seeing race walkers in the Olympics. There is no one around here that I've ever seen walking quite like that, but there are some people that when they walk by me, they leave me in the dust. I don't get an aerobic effect from walking, but other people do, and you can get one if you walk fast enough and get your heart rate up. I'm not going to cover all that you would have to do to get an aerobic effect, but you can look that up. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.